I'm not going to lie, it's the most exciting game for me personally on the stage all day of today. It's The Witcher 3, and I'm joined by Peter and John. Guys, it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing?
Likewise.
Great.
How is E3 going so far for you guys?
Busy.
Yeah, I bet, right? Your demo.
Exciting. We got one of these, dude.
Oh, yeah. You
Oh,
want
yeah.
one of those? I don't have one of
Yeah.
those. What? Whatever. I might take yours later. So, how did yesterday go then? It seemed like it was a great reception, but tell me how you thought it was.
Yeah, it's going really great, man. People are coming out and they're really excited about it because we're showing the game behind, behind closed doors. The secret part of the game behind closed doors. So people coming out and they're really excited about it, and
They're getting a lot of applause, man. They're really digging it.
Excellent. Well, we've actually got another kind of bit of an exclusive right now, some brand new gameplay, a new gameplay demo. So we're going to go to that, and I think, Peter, you're going to talk us through it, right?
Exactly.
So, here we go. Oh, menu screen. Ah, that's new.
All right, we're already there. So it's going to be a small snippet of the demo we are presenting over at the business booth. We're in no man's land. It's a huge region of our game, and we're right in the middle of the adventure. We got some information from a guy called Dijkstra that Geralt is looking for a certain person, an ashen-haired girl. I think it's pretty safe to talk about her. There's Ciri. And we're looking for a small childlike creature in the swamps. So we are going to use our Witcher senses to look for traces, possible traces of this small creature. Since Geralt is a Witcher, he has these enhanced senses that enhance both audible and visible clues, so we can look for all sorts of things leading to any prey Geralt might have. And here we have stumbled upon some smallish footprints. So we're going to follow them.
so we're showing off our water physics a lot in our sort of water particle
All right,
system.
in a while, yes.
And we're going to be showing off our combat a lot in this sequence.
Johnny? Don't be afraid. You're a Baka? Ah, a godling. Not many of you left. I'm looking for a woman with ashen hair. Seen her? Tell me everything from the start. Where did you see her? What was she doing? It's important to me. Why not? Lost your voice? Can I help you somehow? Can't understand you. Try to explain it somehow. Want me to follow you? No choice, I guess.
All right, so Johnny apparently wants us to help him regain his voice, and since it's information we're looking for, it makes a lot of sense to follow him. So let's follow wherever he's taking us through the swamps. It's a really nice place. All sorts of points of interest.
You also
All right.
mentioned we're on the main storyline here.
Exactly, all right. We've seemed to stumbled upon some wildlife.
Yep.
We're going to use some signs to
You
find
recognize
them.
these guys?
These are drowners.
Yeah.
Whenever a nearby village or city guards want to get rid of bodies, they mostly dump them in the swamps. It's the easiest way to get rid of them. And some of these bodies come back as these vile creatures, again called drowners. They pester travelers and adventurers like us, but we came prepared, as you saw. All right, so let's follow Johnny a little bit further. We're going to see some really interesting things here.
I think you saw some cutting limbs there, so we implemented a new sort of full dismemberment system in the game, so you can
Exactly.
cut everything up, basically.
People seem to like that
Yeah,
a
I noticed
lot
in the
during
demo when you
presentations.
cleaved that man in two, yeah.
Let me look around. Something's on the ledge. Something that'll get you your voice back. Guess I gotta make this climb.
All right, so I think we really don't want to spoil the whole story for your audience because we still have an entire game to spare for you. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 50-hour sort of main storyline within
50 hours.
and a 100-hour game. So it's like you really got to play it for a long time to get into it. But I think this little snippet shows off some of the storytelling features in the game.
So what were we just watching that game running on there? Was that a PC or was that PS4? What was that build we just had a look at
This
there?
one right here, it's playing on PC.
Playing on PC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned the dismemberment system. That's kind of new. What else have you added into combat?
We have refined combat a lot. It's very, very tactical now, while being very casual, of course. This is a very welcoming system, just like the story. We would like to focus on welcoming and inviting as many new players as possible. You don't have to play any of the prequels to get engaged in the story, and the combat is likewise very, very approachable. So it's easy to learn, hard to master. There's a lot of depth to it. There's a bunch of combat animation that makes it really, really fluid. It's really enjoyable. There's a lot to do here.
So is it similar to the combat in Witcher 2, or have you just tweaked it slightly? Or how similar are they?
But it's been refined a lot.
Okay. But is there still that emphasis on countering and dodging around? Because I remember, for me, that's certainly only the best way I found a victory in many battles was to make sure I countered, make sure I jumped out of the way a lot. Is it still that kind of, you can't take many hits, you need to be careful about how you play?
There's a bunch of that, and of course there's a lot of emphasis on sign usage, so it's a nice balance pacing between all the features we have in combat.
We took the backward roll out of the game though. Now it's just the dodging system, and there's a pretty advanced parry system as well in the game.
Okay. We also noticed in the demo yesterday that Geralt can now jump. Finally, he can jump. So, what made you decide to give him a bit more agility? Is that just for kind of traversing around the world,
we want really full immersion in the game. So you need to add the jump in, because you can jump. You have obstacles you can jump around. So it's a pain to have to run around a fence or something like that. So full immersion requires full capability of the character, And
speaking of full immersion, I really want to ask you guys about the world of The Witcher 3. I mean, you've described it as an open world. So how open is it? I mean, is it like Skyrim, for example, where you can kind of wander anywhere, or is it in sections that are all connected, and within those sections?
Very open.
Very open.
What you see is explorable, really. If you see something you like, you can just go there and check it out. There's no digital limits. This is why we introduced jumping, of course. We really didn't want any digital, artificial barriers to Geralt's exploration, so you can go basically almost anywhere.
It's like 35 times bigger than The Witcher 2, I think, in terms of size. There are 3 big regions in the game, and everything's contiguous.
We just measured some sizes of the land recently, and to gallop on horseback, full gallop from the north to the south of No Man's Land and Novigrad, it takes about, 20 minutes. Like full speed, fastest speed available. It's pretty huge.
And does it take place across kind of quite different environments? Because obviously we saw the kind of lush, kind of wooded area there. Does it vary? Are there swampy areas? Are there snowy areas even?
Yeah, there's 3 main regions of the game. We've got this area called Skellige, and it's kind of based on Scandinavian mythology and Nordic mythology.
Okay.
But it's fjords and islands and stuff. That's where you use the boat a lot. We've got No Man's Land, which is kind of a desolate space, more based on Slavic myth.
Ravaged by war and famine, as we told. It's really downtrodden, yet interesting and mysterious and dark. And we have Novigrad, of course, the city that you might have seen. It's really huge, and it's inspired by medieval Amsterdam.
Yeah. So it's a city, and all the surrounding areas of the city, but it's a massive, 8 by 8 kilometer area, basically.
How about the story and the interplay of choosing your quests? Because that was one of in The Witcher 2, you were always on your single player narrative, but then along the way you could kind of pick and choose which additional things you did. Is it the same in The Witcher 3, or is it more open? Can you kind of just do anything at any time? How does that work?
No, I mean there's a really important main storyline, but you can approach it from a lot of different ways. So it feels very non-linear, and it's very lateral. So you might have different plot paths going along the game, but you can move across them laterally in a way.
This is why we introduced the open world, basically. We like to say we want to give room to explore the story, and it required a massive open world. So the solutions are not only dialogue choices like, I want to help you, I'm not going to help you, I'm going to enter the city from this direction. And that alters and modifies and affects a lot of things, and so on.
And you can always jump off a quest and go do some open world stuff.
Fantastic. So you mentioned there's boats. I mean, how does that work in with the way you traverse the world? I mean, be able to use boats. How does that kind of work in with how you adventure around
Yeah,
the
well,
world.
you know, in the world, we have fast travel systems, so you can actually fast travel around, but you need to explore the areas and unlock these sort of fast travel points. So in Skellige, since there's lots of islands and offshore things, you got to take the boat out there to actually find out where to go, and and quest out there or monster hunt out there. Then you unlock it and you can fast travel back or fast travel there. So the boat is it's a means of navigation and means of travel first and foremost. There's also a horse, and you can scale cliffs. So basically, what we're saying is everything you can see in the game, you can actually go to. So you need a way to get there. There's also underwater. So it's tons of ways.
There's loads of ways to get around. Now, one of my favorite things about The Witcher 2 was that it was challenging, and it didn't feel like, even though the production values were incredibly high, it was very slick. It didn't feel like most other games. The way I thought about it was like, you go and see a really great, like, say, Swedish cinema film. It's equally as high production value as Hollywood, but it just feels different. Are you aware of that kind of? It doesn't feel like a West, like an American game or a British game or whatever.
Of course.
And are you aware of trying to keep that and maintain that? Yeah.
Of course, this is a lucky thing that we are situated in Poland, because we are inspired by Slavic mythology a lot, and it's kind of related to European mainstream, of course, but it has a lot of unique approaches. So that affects story, that affects sounds, the music we're using, all the characters, the monsters and beasts, Geralt's reactions, dialogue, and everything. So you're really getting a one-of-a-kind experience in the game.
Yeah, I think Slavic myth is kind of alien to us Americans, so it does feel different when you play it, because you've heard fairy tales told from different perspective, and then this is completely something we never actually experienced when we were growing up. So it's a completely new feeling for players, I think, which is cool.
Now, one of the bits I really, again, enjoyed in Witcher 2, and one of the facets of Geralt being a Witcher, is the idea of monster hunting. Is that, it seems like the trailer you showed off yesterday, Geralt, that wasn't part of the story. He was just hunting a griffin in like a random encounter, is what it seemed like. Is there going to be a lot of hunting choices, just like as you adventure through the world?
That's how it works. Basically, what we like to say is these creatures, however large, dangerous, and hard to defeat, are not bosses at the end of dungeons. They roam the wilderness. They are part of the fauna, so you can stumble upon them when you're exploring, or you can stumble upon their tracks and marks that you can discover using the Witcher senses that we just introduced minutes earlier. You can hear local gossip in villages that a large creature is taking livestock and all sorts of things. So there are many, many ways to pick these up. It's not, it doesn't feel artificial at all. It depends on where you are, what you're doing. The discovery can be tied to main quests or sudden occurrences, coincidences. It feels real.
And so thinking a bit about monsters and about enemies in general. So are there going to be, like, say you start off the game, you're pretty early on, and you come across a trail for something really nasty, something really dangerous. Is that thing going to kill you? I mean, basically what I'm asking is, does enemy difficulty
if you're not ready for it,
scale
it'll
to
kill you,
your
basically,
ability, or is it just they're as hard as they are, and you better be ready for that fight, or you're going to die?
Yeah.
We don't pamper the player. There are a lot of healthy challenges that you will need to prepare. Basically, it's part of being a Witcher, part of the previous games, and we like to maintain that heritage, that there's a lot of preparation and planning ahead. There are a lot of features supporting that kind of an approach to plan the things, to prepare with concoctions, all sorts of potions, scouting around, discovery, and so on. So we still have that.
Fantastic. Are you guys going to, because what I liked as well is when you did the kind of the newer version of The Witcher 2, and you included that kind of combat training arena system. Is that going to be something you bring back, maybe, or is that going to be?
No, we're not doing the arena in this
one.
Not
the arena. That's all going to be incorporated into it already, perhaps.
Yeah, okay. Arena was cool, but we're just not planning to do it. And then for Witcher 2, it's something we added afterwards as well. So maybe we'll find reason to add an arena if people ask for it and love it. Maybe we'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when can we expect to get our hands on The Witcher 3? I mean, I think I've got it down as 24th of February, 2015. All right, yeah. So it is next year. It's not a 2015 game. It's just like all the ones I'm really excited about at E3 so far have been like 2015. It's going to be a good year. And it's going to be on what platforms again? Are we going to be able to play The Witcher 3 on?
Sorry,
what platforms are we going to be able to play Witcher 3 on?
All major platforms: PC, PS4, Xbox One.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on stage and for showing off some new gameplay and for talking about The Witcher 3. It's been a pleasure. Sorry, it's been a bit loud over here. Our other stage is too noisy. Danny, shh. He'll be quiet. It'll be fine.
He is very loud.
Thanks very much, man.
Thanks,
We're
man.
going to throw over now to, I think, a show floor. So let's go and find out what's been going on right on the show floor at E3.